We're partners. We're partners, you and I.
And how we like looked at each other at the same time, though.
You gotta leave that in there.
Okay, I can do that. What episode is this?
This
4?
is episode 4, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 4?
No.
No, it is 4 because we did
Yeah,
intro,
we did.
you, we did the
intro, me, and then the
biggest lessons. That was episode 3. And then this is
and
4.
the Icks.
We keep having some delays on the brothers.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to
Corner them?
I don't know. I don't know.
We should have done Adams while we were on location.
Yeah, but
Life. I don't know, yeah, and it was busy out there too.
Yeah. All right. Biggest icks in landscaping.
I hate that. Ick is an ick for me, that word.
The ick.
I don't like
it. Today is not your typical industry deep dive. We're talking about stuff that makes our skin crawl. The icks in landscaping.
Crusty trucks, client red flags,
Christy.
inside the office drama. Buckle up.
All right, so let's start with the field. What are some crew habits that are just no?
Big old muddy footprints all over a driveway. I love that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Weed eaters left running in beds. Blowers used like brooms. Can we talk about mowing over trash?
Dude, that's the worst because it could have been like 1 or 2 pieces and then you just obliterated it everywhere.
Love that. Love that.
Or no edge definition at all. It just fades. It's just a sad fade into chaos. No, but no crispy edges. We got to have crispy edges.
Oh, I'm like OCD about it, honestly.
Yeah.
No, my favorite though, and this one I've definitely been guilty of, but earbuds in while you're talking to the customer. Makes my eyes twitch. And you can have your music or your podcast or whatever it is that you're listening to, like paused or muted or whatever, but nobody knows that. They just immediately see those little white buds in your ear.
Yeah. Well, and then you just feel like an idiot.
Yeah, and they're
like, are you talking to me?
Right.
No, those music.
I mean, the sentiment is like, are you even listening? You know?
Yeah. Remember when the crew used the flower bed as a parking lot for the wheelbarrow?
Great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a couple of other things that you can list too, like, and these are I feel like sometimes I can be a little harsh on these. I don't know. It's 2025. People are loose, but smoking cigarettes on the job site.
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
I feel like smoking cigarettes is like taboo now. Like it's not cool anymore.
Right. Definitely on a residential job. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and you're leaving cigarette butts everywhere. Like gross.
You just think.
Yeah.
What about irrigation stuff? Spilling glue, spilling glue or the primer onto the concrete. I mean, that's just like a day ruined.
Remember the job site where we got it all over their sidewalk?
Brand new sidewalk. I mean,
just poured.
I think we went back at least 2 times, maybe 3 times before we were able to get it all off, and we tried every chemistry experiment concoction that we could to try to get it off. And I mean, I think we ended up using like some sort of mixture, but it definitely contained gasoline.
Yeah, right. We definitely went like old school.
It was rough,
but it worked.
It was, yeah.
It worked, thankfully. What chaps my ass is like when you have to mow tall grass because life happens or it rained a lot, and they just leave the clumps of grass just laying on top of the clippings. Yeah, yes. It's just like we couldn't get a blower.
I mean, it makes a clean mow look sloppy.
Yeah,
it really does. How about new addresses, like brand new house, brand new build, and the crew kind of not clarifying, autopiloting straight into the wrong property?
I see the next line item in here.
Yeah.
So, do you remember when this happened? So we were installing an irrigation system at a house, and let's just say it was, what's the street name? What's like a...
I have like a one that comes to my mind, but this is a sod delivery one that came up, and it's honestly, this neighborhood, what an asshole for having these streets next to each other, but Elm Ridge and Elm View.
Yes!
And like the crew is there and they're like, hey, so when's the sod dropping? And we're like, it dropped 4 hours ago. And they're like, dude, and they're FaceTiming me, sending me pictures, no sod in sight. And of course, there it is, a street over, like down the block. And they're like, I don't have a machine. I can't get it over here. And it's 6 pallets, you know what I mean? We installed the irrigation at
It was like one was a cove, the other one was a street. We were supposed to be at the street, but we installed it at the cove. And like it turns out that like multiple trades had done this.
Wasn't this was like a Hutto house? Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was
Yes,
a Hutto
I
house.
do remember that.
And we got like 75% done with the irrigation system, and then once we realized that we were at the wrong house.
Were we? I mean, was it at least the right builder?
It was, but it was like their sister company.
So it could have been worse.
It could have been worse. It did work out, but it was very annoying.
New home construction. Just a little monster.
Yes.
All right, so how about some customer icks? We've all got stories.
It's just a quick mow, right? Or the classic, you can squeeze me in, right? You got this?
No, there's a crew right there. Can't they just handle it and you send me the bill?
Or the homeowners, or not even just homeowners, or even the customer, if you will, is hovering over you while you're working, micromanaging your bid, like they know your margins. People wanting and expecting a chuck in a truck, or our favorite, won in a truck.
Yeah.
Pricing, but from a legitimate large company.
Right. They want the big company with the fancy truck and the uniforms, but they want that down the street guy's price.
The cash deal.
I'll do it for $40. Oh gosh.
Which is why boundaries matter, and we've learned that we need to educate our customers early on, or regret it later.
Communication is key.
Yes. Like for instance, crate murder.
I love that term.
Yeah. So crate murder, for those who don't know, crate myrtles are ornamental trees. And I think like it's kind of like back in the day, people used to just like hack them right at the top.
They look like just roots sticking up in the air.
Yeah. So it would just be like this really ugly like tree that's dormant, doesn't have any leaves, no flowers. And then it's just like cut off at the top. But the problem is that it creates the knots. And so when the new growth happens, it grows out of the knots. And so you just see like in the middle of the grape, these big old knuckles and then new growth. So it's very ugly. But you still get people to this day that ask for that. And we're like, ugh.
Or you drive by and you see that's like somebody that's like, good for them. They do it themselves. But,
yeah.
Maybe you should have looked into that. How about and this is like internal, and this is something that we just make fun of, but it's like when customers send in pictures and they're trying to show maybe like a bad piece of sod or a broken sprinkler head or something, and you just see their like nasty bare feet in the picture. They're just taking the picture straight down. You're like, dude, have some self-awareness, brother.
Yeah. Like, dude, we have to get like full on feet in here. Like, this isn't OnlyFans.
Gross.
I love it when they do that when we're talking about like standing water. And I get it because I've, as a homeowner, like I need to show you that there's standing water.
Right.
And so there's a lot of videos of squishing around and it's like you really can't hear it, can't really see it.
It's like, dude, I believe you. I'll come out there and I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, it's cringy.
What about, you've already got something going on. You've signed the job. You're in the middle of executing the job, and then they're like, hey, what about this? And hey, while you're here, can you just take care of this real quick? They kind of pretend like these little additions, like that they're naming all over the place, like they're not extra work.
Right. I just need a bag of mulch. That's all it needs.
Yeah.
Right.
Just, while they're doing the front bed, hey, can they hit the back bed too?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that it snowballs quick. You know what I mean? I always say that, like, I can't say this because it's not the friendliest, but we're a service company. We're not a favor company.
Right.
And it always just seems to be like the people that are like, I guess it makes sense, but it's the people that are like penny pinching.
Yes.
That do this the most, and it's really like the people that are happy to spend the money that I'm like way more inclined to be like, you know what, I'll just take care of that.
Right. Like I got you. Like
you're gonna call me again. Like,
exactly.
I'll be back and you never beat me up over the price. So
it's not a one-time favor.
Right. I'm happy to do it.
Or a lot of times we deal with this a lot is especially with customers that are bilingual, and they can speak Spanish. You're there with the customer and the crews, and you're telling everybody what you're going to do, and then you leave, right? And then the customer who is bilingual then goes and talks to the crew, and they're like, hey, you think you can do this? You think you can do that? I know.
That language barrier is sometimes I feel like you almost take advantage of it as like a protective barrier from that happening. But like you say, like every once in a while, it can cause some confusion.
It gets a little sticky. Okay, so now for more like internal stuff, more of the that's not my job
Office
type
drama.
of ick.
How about showing up late like it's a flex? And this one drives me nuts because it's so easy to be on time.
Yeah.
Or how about sending like 20 micro messages when it could have been all one thread, one
Right.
sentence? Communication is key, but too much or cluttered communication can really be frustrating and just too much.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it. I've definitely been guilty of a few of those. But now I like to consider myself allergic to that.
How about the people that only respond once like something has been escalated, or they're like the absolute worst about like keeping in contact and keeping good communication until all of a sudden they're under the gun and now they're like they can email you right away. They're calling
Rapid
you,
fire.
they're texting you, and it's like, dude, where have you been?
Yeah, like, hello. I've been trying to get in contact with you forever. Or even like if one of us here working are in a bad mood, and of course it kind of bleeds against the rest of the team. I mean, we all have bad days. But it's also about controlling your reactions is going to be the better choice.
I don't expect you to be like super cheerful all the time, but it is a little bit of a choice.
Yeah.
All right, so those are definitely the top kind of frustrations, the icks. I'll say it, the icks, if you will. But it's not all bad out there.
Do you get the ick saying the ick?
I do. I really do. I hate that word. In fact, preparing for this episode, I went on Google. Should have asked ChatGPT.
Look for a synonym.
I was looking for a synonym. Like, is there a word that I could say besides ick for this? But it's all like everything that came up as a synonym or whatever was like a full definition of like things that frustrate you or disgust you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess there is not another.
That's not as cool.
There's not another shorthand word for it. What about some good stuff? Some good stuff?
We got some good stuff. We do our one irrigation tech that is like the cleanest person ever. To the point where I'm like, did you even work today?
I know. He himself stays clean.
Yes.
And also, I mean, he's proud of his work. He posts it on his social media or whatever. And you see him and he's in a 3-foot hole.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like he definitely.
Like, how do you not have any dirt on you? Like, I was out in the field and I got dirt on my boots. How come you don't?
I walk out just to check on how much mulch we have in the yard, and I'm coming back like tracking mud everywhere. How about customers that are like just awesome to work with? I mean, like even when a job is experiencing some complications, maybe some weather delays or whatever, and things are just not going as planned, but they're just like totally understanding, go with the flow, and they're like, hey, I know you got me.
Yeah. I mean, those are definitely a blessing to have, especially when everything else is hot and heavy.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that like your customers has your back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, I see you. I mean, I went to a job site today where unfortunately we got off on a bad foot and walking the property with them and everything and just figuring out where we needed to start. Anywho, towards the end of it, we leave and she's much happier, right? And she sends a text to Corey and was just like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like I was getting a little worried, guys.
Right.
But now that you guys came and walked it with me, like I feel confident again.
Communication.
Yeah, communication.
I'm telling you, but when the people are just understanding of real life, honestly, it makes you want to like go 10 times harder for them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about some team members or some staff that you can just like 100% count on? The ones that are early every single day. They're in a great mood, or at least a mood ready to kick ass. And you literally you worry about them if they're not 15 minutes early.
Are you talking about yourself?
Well, I wasn't. But I mean, if you think I fall into that category.
I mean, you do. You're always here like super early.
I remember, and this actually happened this is probably a while ago, but like it used to be Adam and I in the office, like we would be the first ones here all the time. And I think he called me at probably I don't know. He called me and was like, hey dude, I got to the office and you weren't here. And like that particular day I forgot to set my alarm.
Oh no.
But he had called me so early that I still made it to work like well on time. Like early still. But it was just not my early.
You need an alarm to wake up.
I mean, I will eventually wake up in the window of time where I'm still
Sure.
safe. But
Okay.
but yes, I like to wake. I like my set time. I know exactly how long my routine takes. I know how long it takes me to get here. So I do. I like my alarm. It's my safety net.
Yeah, and that is true because it's like, man, having like those employees that you don't have to worry about like whether or not they're going to actually just be on time.
I'm telling you, like it starts getting close to the time, and you're like, dude, I should call this guy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's never late. You know what I mean?
Then you should start worrying.
Right. Well, this episode was a fun one. I mean, real talk, like talking about these kind of like frustrations and these icks. They help us to kind of like, talking about the icks gives me the icks. No, but it helps us to kind of keep an eye on these things and kind of like lead the situations a little bit better.
For sure. It helps us raise the bar, not only for ourselves, for our teams, and hopefully other landscape professionals out there too.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure that there's a million other icks that you could probably name, and if you've got some, let us know in the comments. Maybe send us a message, because we'd love to talk about those too.
Yeah, just don't put red mulch in your yards.
It's just ugly.
Red mulch and green steel edging. Ugh. All right, guys. See you next time.
That was good. We rode through that so smooth.